Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm going to show you how I made this red, white, and blue flower wreath, perfect for Independence Day. So let's get started. The first thing I did was cut my mesh into 10-inch pieces. I used the entire roll for this wreath. You can use your wood burner to cut the mesh to prevent it from fraying, but for now I'm just cutting mine like this, and I plan to spray the wreath with Mod Podge once I'm done to help with the fraying. To make the petal, I'm going to start by folding the mesh diagonally. And cut the mesh down the center, creating two triangular pieces. Here's one of the pieces you're left with after the cut. I like to refold the mesh to create a neater fold. I'm going to use my left hand to hold the mesh in place, and with my right hand, I'm going to pinch the bottom together from one side to the other. Then take a zip tie, tie the bottom together as tight as you can get it, and clip off the excess zip tie. So I went ahead and created more petals off camera, and I wanted to show you guys my mistake. As you can see, these two petals are facing different ways, and it's all about how you fold and cut the mesh. So I'm going to call this one the left-sided petal, since the stripe border is on the left side of the petal, and this one I'll call the right-sided petal. I originally planned for this flower to have all the petals going the same way like this, but I've already cut and created petals facing both ways, so each layer is going to alternate between the left and right-sided petals. So if you start out with your stripe border on the sides and fold diagonally, you will end up with a right-sided petal. And if you start out with the stripe border on the top and bottom and fold diagonally, then you'll end up with a left-sided petal. So if you plan on making your flower with the petals all facing one way, just keep that in mind, because there really isn't a good way to fix this after you cut the mesh. Hopefully that makes sense. I'm using some zip ties to attach the 8-inch frame to the 14-inch frame. Now I'm using a pipe cleaner I cut, and I'm going to attach one of my right-sided petals to the second outer ring of the frame. I'm going to place the next petal right by the first one, where they are barely touching, and in total I'm putting 4 petals in each section of the second outer ring. I went ahead and attached my petals to the other sections off camera, the same way I attached the 4 petals on camera. The next layer, I'm going to use the left-sided petals, and I'm working on the inner ring on the 14-inch frame. I'm using 4 petals for each section, and I'm just placing them right between each petal from the first layer. Here's what it looks like so far, and I'm going to continue to attach my petals around the frame off camera. The next layer, I'm working on the center ring of the 8-inch frame, and I'm using the right-sided petals. For this layer, I'm just placing my petals so they are touching just a little bit. I'm not going to worry about placing these petals in between the petals from the second layer. In total, I used 14 petals for this layer, 5 petals in 2 sections and 4 petals in 1 section. I had 5 pieces of mesh left, which created 10 left-sided petals that I'm going to use for the last layer, which will be on the inner ring of the 8-inch frame. And I'm just evenly spacing these petals and making sure that I cover the pipe cleaners from the previous layer. For the center, I'm using my styrofoam half ball and Dollar Tree Nautical rope. I'm going to unravel the rope and use the individual pieces. I didn't like how bulky the rope looked on the foam ball, so that's why I'm using the individual pieces. I'm going to cut the ends because they were fraying pretty badly. Then I'm going to start hot gluing the rope to the foam ball. Once you reach the end of the rope, I cut off some of the end that was fraying badly and just glued it down. Then I got another piece and glued that down where the last piece ended and continued to glue around the ball. Once I reached the bottom of the ball, I just glued the end of the rope to the bottom of the ball. Then I'm hot gluing 4 pipe cleaners to the bottom of the ball using a generous amount of hot glue. Once that dries, attach the center to the wreath. The last thing I did was apply Mod Podge to the cut edges of the petal. You don't have to do this if you used a wood burner to cut the mesh. And you can also use the spray Mod Podge, which is what I did in the end. It was a lot quicker and I just ended up spraying the entire wreath, but really get those edges really good to stop the mesh from fraying. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for more crafting videos. Thank you so much for watching.